Thank you for the warm introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I am Captain Kendra Stewart. I am OGD's Deputy Director for Operations, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to provide the closing remarks for today's SBIA forum. I also want to start off by thanking the Office of Generic Drugs and OPQ for all the presenters who presented today, and I want to thank you all as well for being here and participating in this event. We hope it was informative and useful for you. Okay. So just as a reminder, and I hope everyone learned a lot today. I learned a lot as well from all of the many questions that were being asked in the room. I just want to remind everyone about our objectives for this event, which were to gain practical regulatory knowledge to enhance your ANDA applications, to streamline the assessment process, and ultimately reduce review cycles. So as a reminder, each of us play an important role in our shared public health mission of ensuring patients have access to safe, quality, and effective generic medications. In particular, the Office of Generic Drugs further demonstrates this commitment through our strategic priorities, which are modernizing our processes, enhancing efficiency, and promoting innovation and excellence in generic drug development and approval. So over the last couple of days, you've seen many great presentations from experts across the generic drug program on topics such as labeling, best practices for labeling, utilizing the inactive ingredient database, DMFs, nitrosamines, Orange Book, and so many more. Also, as our Dr. Darby Kozak mentioned in his opening remarks, OGD also recently launched a resource page for generic drug applicants, which has on-demand training, presentations, and more to help improve the quality of ANDA submissions and potentially decrease the assessment cycles. So if you haven't been able to check that out, I highly encourage you do so. You'll note on the page that it has a robust amount of resources that we believe will be helpful for industry, and we plan to continue to review the resources on that page and make updates as different topics become more relevant. So again, we encourage you to visit the page. Here's a QR code, but I also note there's a number of stands on different tables, so that information is also readily available on many of your tables. Also of note, in terms of resources, all of the presentations that were shared here today will also be available online after the forum, so you can also access those as needed. So, you know, as we conclude from this generic drug forum, I do just want to emphasize the significance of our collective efforts in improving access to generic drugs. Just an oft-cited statistic that many of us have heard throughout the years is that generic drugs make up more than 90% of prescriptions filled in the US, or that generic drugs save Americans in the US healthcare system more than $1 billion a day. And I think that's more important now than ever. So with this compelling metric in mind, we have to consider the substantial impact of our collaboration. So by working together to submit and assess high quality generic drug applications, we can continue expanding access to safe, effective, and quality generic medications. All of this is made possible by the dedication of our industry stakeholders, FDA staff, and our other partners. And so as we move forward, let's continue to build on that momentum. And together, we can further improve the generic drug development process, address emerging challenges, and ensure that American patients have access to the medications that they need. Okay, I may have gone too far. Okay. So I just want to thank you again. I also, before I depart and hand it back over to Corey, I also just want to thank this amazing SBIA staff who put together a fantastic event. If we can, please just join me in giving them a brief round of applause. All right. So I really appreciate all their efforts, and I just want to thank you all again for being here. Thank you.